YouTube? It's a Weed-tastic Warrior here, and this is my first video to YouTube, so I'm pretty excited. I actually was going to start my channel because of my family's move in August to Washington State. I was going to start the channel about my journey there, about starting into the marijuana business, all this other good stuff. But it changed because about a week ago, I was in my Spanish class and I bumped into this girl, and she told me that some person in her class was trying to bring her to religion. It was trying to save her, and she was kind of confused because she was trying to ask me, she's like, does my face look like I need to be saved? And I was like, well, you know what religion is? Every religion is just about how the other religion thinks that if you're not a part of this, you're just going to burn and die. Which, you know, me growing up Catholic, I believe that too, because, you know, in the Catholic religion, if you're not baptized, or if you don't accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, the rapture is going to come, and, you know, you're going to be left behind, or you're going to burn, and everybody else is going to live this great life. And that's every single religion I was looking at. And then the girl told me, she's like, well, that's not entirely true. I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, you should probably look up at Buddhism. So I went home later that night. I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't know anything about Buddhism. The only thing I knew was that in my head, I thought that, like, you had to be Indian to be a Buddhist. I thought you had, you know, I thought the Buddha was the big fat guy, and that was their god, all that was crazy stuff that a lot of people do think about Buddhism. I thought, you know, like maybe terrorists are Buddhist and stuff, you know, because, you know, in America we have these views, you know, we look at media and we look at other things around us and we think that that is right, you know, just because maybe even what I'm telling you right now is not even right, you know. That's the craziest thing, because our perception of reality, we don't even know. Like, if you had to think right now, why am I here? You don't even know. So I went home and looked up Buddhism, and right away I was like, boom, I found what I needed to find. Now, a little brief history of myself. The past decade, I've been in the military. Prior to the military, you know, I lived a somewhat normal life, but I dealt with, you know, racism, you know, younger, that really affected me. And then going in the military, I excelled. You know, I was E1 to E6 within 5 years. Didn't know anything about the military. I just excelled. And recently, I got discharged out of the military for popping on a marijuana piss test. Mainly because, you know, throughout my entire military time, I was doing drugs. I was, you know, doing whatever I could do to possibly just get away from my own misery. And nobody could really tell except the people that truly were close to me. But everybody in my military career saw me and they were like, yo, this dude is going to be a captain one day. This dude is going to be something great in the military, because, like, I was excelling at such a rapid pace, like ridiculously. Like, if I have one task, I just get it done. I'd stay up for days on end sometimes. I remember on my 11-month deployment, there were some type of days where I would stay up for 3 days on time just trying to get ready for different tasks that I thought were so important, because I wanted to rank up. And every time I got an award or got any type of recognition, it felt awesome. But it was like the quickest feeling ever. Like, let's see, if I could try to explain it, it's like getting slapped in the face. That sting you feel when you got slapped in the face, that's how good it felt, and how quick that pain leaves. It's like you remember somebody slapped you in the face, you remember that you got the award, but you don't remember how it felt. So I just keep on going and going and going and going and trying to get that feeling again. So it affected my house. It affected everything in my life. The only thing that I really was attached to was just trying to gain something. So I somewhat became like a sociopath. You know, I was insane at my house, and I presented like this okay person in the Navy. Well, this past year has been, you know, really crazy in my life, and I was doing things like getting domestic disputes at my home. I had to spend 8 days in jail on felony charges that thankfully got dismissed. You know, I was doing some reckless stuff. I was getting in fights. A year ago, I beat a man to an inch of his life. Not something that I'm very proud of, but something that happened, and I just kind of lost, like, all grips of really what, like, I kind of wanted as a kid, I guess. Like, my grips of, like, what, like, you think about in high school, what your life is going to be like. You know, I have my daughter, I have my son, I have my wife, I have all these things, but what is really, like, this can't be what life is about. Life cannot be me just going through day to day, just getting by and being miserable. And, you know, the more I was talking to my friends, the more I found out that I wasn't alone. It was that we were all just hiding this pain, and nobody wanted to be real. And nobody wanted to just say, hey, I need help. And I didn't either. So, you know, outside the military, I just stopped drinking. I wasn't drinking. I was smoking marijuana because it was controlling my anxiety, or what I thought, you know what I mean? But I was going further and further into depression. I was losing all grips of myself. I was spending so much time in this place right here. But now the only time I spend in here is when I'm reading, or I'm meditating, or I'm watching, you know, trying to just learn why I feel the way I do some days. Okay? So, yeah, I mean, I was at my, like, I was starting having suicidal thoughts, start visualizing, like, my firearms. You know, I got a crossbow right there. I started visualizing different things and me doing things in my head. Like, I was visualizing the possibility of things happening. And that is not ever good. So if you're ever thinking, like, you've ever have one thought, just one. It only has to be one. Just one true thought. And you're like, oh, that, like, you shake it off, you need to go talk to somebody. Because I've had so many friends close to me kill themselves, and I've never understood why. Like, just like, why? Like, why would you do that? Like, there's so many people around here that love you and stuff. Why would you do that? And then I realized why. It's because we truly don't understand. Like, for me, I lost grips of why I was here. Like, what I just was like, maybe it's just suffering. And maybe if I could just end my suffering and go to that point of, you know, trying to think of, like, I was thinking of when you sleep, right? Something, when you're not dreaming, you're really just in, like, a state of nothingness. So I was, like, thinking maybe suicide would be that state of nothingness where I would just not have to deal with nothing anymore. So, you know, I was, like, at that point. And then I came home, I watched a video from Koi Fresco on Buddhism, and I was like, you know what, let me see that, let me give this, you know, so I started going on Discovery Channel, I started researching Siddhartha, and I started getting this book, I'm reading one of them right now, every day. I started meditating for this, like, you know, past 9 days. I started meditating 3 times a day. It doesn't matter even the amount of times. I want you to know that it doesn't matter how many times a day you do meditate. I do it 3 just because it's like it's your morning, lunch, and dinner. I can remember it. That's the only reason I do 3. And I wish I could do more, but, you know, like, you don't have the time, you know. But we all wish we could just sit there with our eyes closed all day and just not think about all these worries. But the truth of the matter is, there is this world in our body, our soul, and then we have to actually go out and experience our life and all that other good stuff. But you got to have the mental capacity to do so. All right, like, look at it this way. All right, our body is a tree. Okay, our body is a tree. And our abilities and the things that we do are our fruit, okay? And the kind things that we do and all these good things that we can do and bear are our fruit. Now, what determines what fruit a tree bears? Its roots, all right? The roots of the tree is growing, and the roots, all those nutrients, that's what is gonna bring out what type of fruit it's going to bring. But if you change the roots, you're going to change the entire chemistry of that tree, and you're going to bear different fruits. So what I'm saying is, our roots start right here, and if you can change the roots in here to nothing but good thoughts, nothing but good vibes, you can change everything. You don't have to feel pain anymore. You don't have to feel sorrow anymore. You don't have to. You can experience them. You don't have to feel them. You can see them come in, you can laugh at them, and you can let them go. Isn't that crazy? And that's what the Buddha found. He found that, yes, pain, all these things, death are going to come. You are going to die. Your children are going to die. Your parents are going to die. Everybody around you is going to die. But what if, in that time you're here, you can reach a different state? A state that is so blissful and extreme that you cry. In like the past 4 days, I've cried so many times, just tears of happiness. Tears of just extreme joy and happiness. And it's because all you have to do is pause on your mind. So, I don't want to make this video too long because I don't want people to be discouraged from clicking on it because, the time. So what I suggest, or what helped me, I don't want to suggest anything because I'm not right or wrong. I'm just here now talking to you. But what worked for me is I researched just mindfulness. You don't have to research Buddhism. You don't have to research, any religion. Just research mindfulness and Christ's mindfulness. And it's only called Christ mindfulness because of just the name that, they gave it. Scientists gave it. Nothing it's not, you don't have to believe in Jesus to have Christ mindfulness. And then tonight, before you go to bed, just take yourself 5 minutes to close your eyes and just breathe in. Just like that, for 5 minutes, and close your eyes. Maybe put on your favorite song. Put on something that reminds you of a good time, something happy, something peaceful. Close your eyes for 5 minutes and just breathe. And when your mind wanders, just keep on taking yourself right back to your breath and breathing. And once you can just do that, focus on your breath, you'll take a break from your daily struggle. And you'll remember that you are awesome, that you are great, you are an amazing person, and you're in this thing, whatever this is, with me, with everybody else. And if we just stop all the hate and we just do nothing but love, imagine what we could do. We've spent centuries in wars, just chaos, and look what it's brought us. Imagine if we could spend the next centuries and centuries and centuries in nothing but peace. But it starts with us. And I know that's crazy to think that we could do something that big, but we can. I just need you to believe in me and just hang in. So until next time, hopefully, I'm giving another 24 hours. This is my first video. I know it's rough. I'm on a budget, I'm not in the military, obviously. So I'm on a smartphone right now. I got you propped up on a turtle wax thing, on a yoga block also, so you can see me, so it's not going to be perfect, but I hope I help at least a couple people. And leave your comments, good or negative, anything. I'll, if I forgot something that could be helped to somebody else about anything I said, please leave in the comments. Please positive, because negative only brings more negative. No matter how positive we try to bring to attack negativity, it's just going to bring negativity. So whatever it is, just positive constructive criticism. All right, love y'all. Peace, love, and hair grease. Until we see you again, the Weed-tastic Warrior is out.